Welcome back, everyone. It's Dale from the WebPub class again, and today I wanted to walk you through the process of adding images to your HTML documents. Now, you'll see I've added a little bit more text since the last video. I filled out my bio. I've added a couple of subheads. You can see hiking and sports. I've added a little paragraphs, a little content to go along with each of those. So when you open it up in the browser, this is what my site looks like so far. But what I really want is I want to add some visual interest to the site, so I'm going to add an image of myself, which some may argue is not adding visual interest, but for the purposes of this, we're going to anyway. So you'll remember we're saving my files here in the Dale website folder, and you'll see I've since added an image called dale.jpg, so that's what I'm going to be referencing as I add my image. So I have a couple of options here. I can either add it above the header, I can add it below the header, I can add it within a paragraph. Let's just add it underneath the header for right now, and the way to add an image is with the img tag. But the img tag is a little bit different. It's a standalone tag. So this is one that you will open and close within the same tag. There are very few of these standalone tags. Don't let them intimidate you. But unlike the paragraph tag or every other tag we've learned so far, the img tag will not have an img bracket and then a new bracket /img. I'll show you how to close it here in just a second. I also need to introduce you to something called attributes and values. These are tags that the img tag is an example of a tag that contains attributes and values. So the attribute here is src, meaning I'm letting the browser know where to find this file. And they're always followed by an equal sign and then 2 quote marks. So right here is where I will enter in that dale.jpg name, and then how you close the image is you do a space after the quotes, you close it, and then you do the bracket right there. So again, this is a little bit different. It's a standalone tag, but when I do the command S, I'm going to go in here and okay, so now we have my image, and that is frightening to see it that large. So there are a couple of ways I can solve this problem. One, I can add an attribute again with the width here, and everything you enter in between these quotes will be in pixels. So let's try 300. I'll save, and now I'm going to refresh. Okay, that's a little bit better, so I'm happier with that. Now what I could have also done is gone into a photo editing software, something like Photoshop or Pixlr, which we'll talk about later in the semester, and edited the size down. But the width is an attribute you can use to control it within the HTML. Now, really important to notice, you can only make a photo smaller using that width attribute. You don't want to make it bigger, because if you make the photo bigger than its normal size, it will get pixelated and grainy, so you don't want that. Okay, so I have my image here, and that's great, but I would like this text to wrap around the image. I'm not really happy with it just kind of sticking out there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy and I'm going to paste that image within the paragraph. So let's save that and see what happened. Okay, so we've got the startings of this. You can now see that the image is part of this paragraph. And I'm going to add one more attribute to this tag, and it's going to be the align attribute, and I'm going to align left. I'm going to save, and now let's copy that, and you can see now the text is aligned. The photo is aligned to the left of the text, which is aligned to the right, so that align left told the browser I want the image on the left-hand side. I don't exactly like that I have these subheads on the same side of this. Ideally, I would have more content here. So as you continue to add content, and I'm going to copy and paste a couple of paragraphs here just to give you the sense of what I'm talking about. As I continue to add those, then you'll get your subheads and everything under there. So that is a quick and easy way to add an image to your HTML document. It's incredibly easy. Just a couple of things to really make sure. Double check the file name. Double check that the file is actually inside the same folder. Because you are saving this index.html document in this folder, that means the browser is also going to look inside this folder for that file name. Also double check the extension. Sometimes it might be .jpg, sometimes it might be .jpeg. It might be a PNG file sometimes or a GIF file, so always make sure that you're paying very close attention to the actual file name here. And if you ever have problems and you're noticing it's not working but everything looks correct, the last thing to do is check your quote marks. Sometimes, especially if you've copy and pasted from a Word document, it's going to copy over rich text with you, so those quote marks might be slanted. You want the straight up and down quote marks. So double check your preferences. If you're using TextEdit, make sure you've gotten rid of all the smart quote options inside preferences. If you're using something like Text Wrangler, it's a lot easier to avoid those issues from the beginning. But that's a final troubleshooting method if your image is not working. So again, I've introduced the image tag here. It has an attribute of src, meaning that's the source of it, and then the value within the quotes is the file name. I added an attribute of width with 300 pixels, meaning I made it smaller to fit the page better, and then I aligned the image to the left, meaning that the text would wrap around to the right, and I accomplished that by including the image within the paragraph tag. Next time we'll be talking about adding links to your HTML document.